So we were discussing the 1D waveguide, right? So we can continue that through Maxwell's equation. So we have the axis 1D waveguide propagating direction is Z, and then you have your substrate, and then you have your core, and then your cladding. Yeah. So you have NF, NS, and your NC. This is your X. This is X. This is actually Y, and then this is your X equal to 0. We write, and X equal to D. Right. This is X. So this is the case, and then we have written three equations. The three equations for TE polarization. For TE polarization, we have E equal to X component 0, Y component is there, and Z component 0, and magnetic field equal to Hx 0 Hy. Okay, so this is the case, and then maybe we just define this thing first. So we have mentioned that this Ey that can be actually X dependent, Z dependent, and T dependent, and can be written as Eyx and e to the power j omega t minus beta z. Okay, where beta equal to say omega by c n effective to be solved. Okay, so this is the case we have learned so far, and for three region. So region 1, we define as x greater than 0 and less than 0. We write the equation, frequency domain equation, dx2 equal to omega square by c square, and then it is nf square minus n effective square ey x, that is actually equal to 0, right? And for region 2, where actually we defined x less than equal to 0, we can write same equation, only one change, omega square by c square and n s square minus n effective square ey x equal to 0. Okay, and yeah, so now let me write region 3, x greater than equal to d. So we can write d2 uyx by dx2 plus omega square by c square n c square minus n effective square ey x equal to 0. So we have these three equations, and let me just define equation. For the moment, we can say that equation 1 and equation 2, equation 3. Okay, and for this, you see n effective for a guided mode field distribution Uyx, and that has a specific form throughout the core and cladding, and it should have a effective index, and region 1 only differ by NF, region 2 differ by NS only, and NC. N effective is same everywhere because mode is traveling as a solution for the system of core and cladding, top cladding. Now you see, I have a quick question for you. So if I just consider this term, just let me try this one. Only this one, if I just consider, is it a positive number or negative number? Anyone can help me? The marked red one, is it a positive or negative?
Positive.
Why?
Because in the core we need a guided mode, so
So
we
because
need this to be positive.
so we are sure that n effective must be greater than less than equal to NF, right? Okay, it should be less than NF. Is that correct? If I write this one, am I correct?
It should not be equal to enough.
It should not be equal to, yeah. If it is equal, then what is the problem? Then there is no
No
solution
solution.
as such. So it should be just very close to less than you can write, yeah. And so in that case, this is actually positive number, and omega square by c square is a scalar. So what we do now, I just define one positive value, kappa f. I write kappa f equal to omega square, say write kappa square, omega square by c square, n f square minus n effective square. This is your kappa f square. Then assume, right? Then region 1 becomes D2 EY. Why I'm just writing again. So if I write that one, so this region 1 gives you D2 EY x dx2 plus kappa f square EYX equal to 0, that is for x 0, right? For now, this is one equation. Now go back to the previous slide again. What about this one? Second one. Will this be positive or negative?
It should be positive.
It should be positive. Why? So n effective should be less than ns?
No, sir. Negative, sir.
It should be negative, yeah. So in that case, I should define another constant for this with a positive value like this. If I write something like this, gamma a square equal to omega square c square n effective square minus n s square, right? Because n effective is higher than ns, right? If something to be guided, you should have n effective should be greater than ns as well as nc. Okay, and nf effective should be less than nf. That is the guiding condition. Normally, if NC is lower, NS is higher. Normally, in principle, we write that N effective should be less than NF and should be greater than NS. If I have something like this condition, N effective, two boundary values will be there. Maximum will be N effective, NF, and minimum will be NS. Anything beyond that, that will not be a guiding solution. This much you should keep in mind. Okay. Now this gives you equation like this: T2 Uy x dx2 minus gamma s square Uy x equal to 0. That is for x less than equal to 0. So this is one equation. And then another, similarly you can write next previous we are going, same thing you can say for this one. This is also as it is N effective is larger than NS, it should be larger than NC always. So that means this is also becoming a negative. So we can define one more positive number that can be written as gamma c square. So gamma c square equal to omega square c square N effective square minus N c square. Okay. So this is positive value. So in that case, what I will be getting here in region 3, x dx2 minus gamma c square uyx equal to 0. That is for x greater than equal to t. All right. Now, if I see this one, if I try to solve this one, so for region 1, that is for x less than equal to d greater than equal to 0, the solution Uyx can be written as EF cosine kappa f x minus phi. Say we can write some f, right? Whatever the solution we just consider typically. Yeah, so it is just consider. So instead of f, it is normally I'm just following the textbook thing. So most of the time, whatever it is represented, they are writing something like that s, gamma s. It's not meaningful for uh, uh, substrate, but somewhat it is written like s. You can write f. This is a constant, some value. Okay, that does not matter. So this is for one thing. Solution you get. So if you just substitute here, it satisfies. But you should keep in mind that that solution valid only in this region. And if I try to a solution for x less than equal to 0, that means you have to solve this one. How it will be looking like? So it will be like Ey x, we write here Es, that is substrate, and e to the power gamma s x. Because x is negative, so it will be exponentially decaying. So the solution for this one would be exponential, right? Because it is minus sign. It's a second order differential equation. If you solve simply, you get this one. EF, ES, these are constant. Similarly, for x greater than d, we can write E yx equal to EC e to the power minus gamma c x minus d, x minus d, so that it is showing decay up beyond x, because x greater than equal to d, this is valid. So whatever value is there, it will be decaying with a gamma c constant. This is your gamma c constant, right? So this is the three equations we get solution for three different zones. Let us consider this one as say 1 2 3, then it is 4, it is 5, and it is 6. So what we have out of this thing, T mode electric field component Ey is known. Now it is the next task is that how to find out components like Hx and Hz, because magnetic field is like that. Or you can try to find out what is the value of Vx and 0 and Bz, right? For T polarization, T mode, for T polarization, I have the electric field, whatever the solution, probable solution I get, but I need to know what is the solution for your magnetic field. So for that, what we do, we take help of this expression, curl of E equal to minus j omega b minus del b del t, right? Curl of E equal to minus del b del t. So I can write this one equal to minus j omega. If I write a vector form, 3 components, I can write something like that: bx, by, bz, right? 3 components. And curl E, we can write something like this: ax, ay, az, and then we'll be writing del del x, del del y, del del z, and then you have to write 0 ey, because only ey component is there. So curl of E can be represented like this, right? Equal to your minus j omega. So x component, y component, z component. I can find out. I don't know that by equal to 0, but you can find that will be obviously equal to 0 from this equation. Once only Ey is there, By would be automatically 0, you will find. Let's see what happens. Now if you see, what is the x component? X component is del del z Ey. Okay. So again, Ey, I can write y component is something like that, x, z, xz. Of course, time dependent part we don't need to write. E to the power j omega t we have already written. So we write here, or maybe t if we write, it will be writing Ey x e to the power j omega t minus beta z, right? So that is your Ey expression. So if I try to find out x component, that means I have to multiply this one and this one, subtraction, right? So that means I have to have x component is ax, right? X component I can write is 0. That means, okay, just x component I can write. Okay, so this is actually del z of Ey, that x component must be equal to minus j omega bx, right? And if you just make a derivative of Ey, then what you get? Minus j beta with respect to del z if you get. So you will be getting, that means that will be of course ax again. So this one I just remove this one, just components level I am considering. So minus j beta Ey should be equal to minus j omega bx. Okay. So once you get that one, we find that bx equal to minus j cancel. Okay. So bx equal to, you are getting beta by omega Ey, right? So I know Ey. Then once you know Ey, you get a bx value, right? Similarly, if I try to get from this equation again, what is the y component? Y component, what will be there? I have to find a y component. That means I have to multiply this one and this one, right? 0. So that will be actually 0. That means I write 0 equal to minus j omega by. So that means it is clear that by must be equal to 0. By must be 0 for all position, all time. And similarly, for z component, what I'll be getting? Del del x ey, and this is 0. So we can write del del x ey. It must be x dependent, you have to consider. That should be equal to minus j omega bz. Now you see, I have bz equal to, now bz equal to, it is minus j. So bz equal to j by omega del del x ey x. So I can write bz x here. This is x, then I can write this is also x. So I have expressed bx and by in terms of ey. So once I know eyx from the Carl equation here, applying, I can find bx bz or hx hz. Just mu multiplication is there. Let us write this 2 as, say, equation. It's a bx, so equation number 7, and this may be your 8, and this is your 9. Okay, so 3 components known now. Now we have the equation here. Ey is already defined for 3 zones. So for 3 zones, if I try to find out my bx, by, bx and bz, I can find out, right? So bx actually normally proportional to whatever the value is there. Okay, and for bz you can have derivative, right? So this is the things. Bx I can write just proportional to this one, right? So 3 zones, if I just try to write bx, for I just calculate bx x, I just try to find out for x equal to less than d greater than equal to 0 zone. So that will be equal to, that gives me that bx x should be beta by omega, right? So beta by omega uyx, right? Beta by omega ef cosine kappa fx minus phi s. That is your bx as a function of x. Similarly, for x greater than equal to 0, that is the lower cladding region, substrate region. So there actually you can write beta by omega es e to the power plus gamma s x. Okay, and x greater than equal to 0. So what you get? bx x, that will be only beta by omega multiplication with the ey. So you are writing ec e to the power minus gamma c x minus d. Now what about same thing for, if I write beta bz x z component? So the z component, if I just compare here, so z component means j by omega and derivative we have to put with respect to x of the ui, right? So I can write that for this region 1, if I just follow it, that bz x equal to j by omega ef sine of kappa fx minus phi s, and cosine you are derivative making a derivative with respect to x. So kappa f will be there and minus sign will be there, right? Cos derivative is equal to minus sign, and this is the value you will be getting, bzx. And in this case, bzx, you will be getting what you will be getting? You will be getting beta by omega gamma s es e to the power gamma s x. and bzx for third region. There also you will be writing beta by omega, okay, and gamma c minus sign, gamma c ec e to the power minus gamma c x minus d. So I hope everyone can follow this thing, right? So this may be equation number 10 and 11 and 12. So x dependent variation I know for all the components for TE polarization, Ey, Bx and Bz. So this is the Bz related solutions, and this is your Bx related solutions, and Ey solution earlier already given. Here you are getting 0, here you are getting 0, and here you are getting 0. Now what next? Next is we have introduced EF, ES, EC and phi s. These are the new constants I have introduced, right? These are the new constant I have introduced. I need to find out, need to solve from boundary condition, okay? Because kappa f and gamma s, gamma c, they are also unknown. They are unknown in the sense that because we don't know ineffective, that it has to be solved. Our ultimate goal is that to find out ineffective as well. So ineffective, if we know, then these three values are known, and then you need to know these four constants. Then entire solution I will be knowing that how it is looking like for Bx, By, Bz as well as Ey. So how to find that? Then I will be just using your boundary conditions, right? What is that boundary condition? We know that, you see, we have the Ey component, and if I see, let's try this way. So I have the waveguide again. Once again, I just sketch here. So this is your Z, and this is your interface giving NS, and this is your interface giving NC, NF, and this is your interface NC. X equal to 0, X equal to D, this is X axis, this is Z axis, and this is your Y axis. Now I have EY component 0, 0, and I have Bx 0 and Bz component. Now I have to find out those constants. So in our hand, we know that this Ey x equal to 0, right? X equal to 0. I have three region solutions are there. Here solution is there, here solution is there, here solution is there. But x equal to 0 I will be trying, and Ey x equal to D. At x equal to 0, I have two solutions. Solution for this region as well as solution for this region at x equal to 0 according to our region. And at x equal to 2, I have also solutions here also in this boundary, inside core, and here also, right? Two solutions are there. So if I put in these two solutions x equal to D, then from this equation whatever I will be getting, and from this equation whatever I will be getting here, that will be equal, right? X equal to 0, if I just consider region 1 to region 3, that will be fine. For example, x equal to 0 if I put, first thing is that EF cosine kappa f into 0 minus phi s, that should be equal to x equal to 0 means other side, right? So e to the power, sorry, EC, ES, right? So this is one equation I will be getting from the boundary condition, because tangential components are equal. I am just applying my tangential component in here and here, and Ey is the tangential component. So that's why two solutions at x equal to 0 I put here, and here e to the power say gamma s x equal to 0, right? This is 0. I can write. So this gives me one solution, EF, one equation cos phi s, that should be equal to ES. So this is our one equation I am getting through one boundary condition. Same thing if I just put at x equal to d, we can write EF cosine, sorry, so here we write EF, right, EF cosine kappa f d minus phi s should be equal to x equal to d, other side x equal to d means EC e to the power minus gamma c x equal to d, d minus d, that will be the case. D minus d equal to 0, that means I will be getting EF cosine kappa f d minus phi s, that should be equal to EC. So I have another equation, we are getting like this. Okay, cos phi s, and this one I write equation number, what was the equation number earlier? 12, right? Okay, so I write here equation number 13 and equation number 14. Okay, so by applying tangential continuity, tangential component continuity for electric field, I get two equations. Similarly, I have tangential component for magnetic field as well. Bz component is the tangential component. Bz, because it is component is in the z direction, that means it is tangential to the interface here and here. So Bz will be, because these are actually charge free, no current is flowing, everything. So tangential component of the magnetic field is also continuous. I have the equation for, sorry, I have the equation for tangential component. These are the equations, right? These are the equations, and again I can use the boundary condition same way at x equal to 0 and x equal to 0. I will be comparing this one and this one, right? That is actually x equal to 0. They should be equal. If I just put x equal to 0, they are equal. That means I am getting sine phi s minus sine phi s, minus minus plus. So I will be writing that way. So I think there, if I write correctly, I write, maybe we can go to that equation remembering, right? Minus j kappa f minus minus plus sine phi s, sine phi s equal to, I think with that it will be beta by omega, or what is there, that equation, kappa f by omega, right? Kappa f by omega is there. So this is by omega, that actually equal to gamma c, gamma s by omega, j will be there, and then you have es. I think minus sign will be there, right? Here beta by omega, right? Bz. Why here j by omega, here beta by omega?
So that should be minus j by omega.
That should be minus j by omega, right? This was mistake.
Yes.
Sure, this was a mistake. So it was minus j by omega. This is j by omega, right? Correct. So minus j by omega means gamma s by omega, then you will be getting, right? Good, thanks. So here also I am putting that minus j by omega, that is written. Okay, fine. Now this is for x equal to 0 condition, and x equal to d if I put, then I will be getting minus j kappa f by omega sine, I think maybe I can write in the red so that it is easier to recognize. Okay, so minus j by omega kappa f sine kappa f d minus phi s equal to you will have minus j by omega gamma c, right, and then EC. Okay, this is another equation. Let me write this one. So what we have given that equation number here, that is 1314. So we can write here, this can be 15 and this can be your 16. So I have, what are the unknowns? I have unknowns. I think one thing here I missed. You know what is that? I think EF will be there, na? EF should be multiplied here, because that amplitude part will be there. Okay. So for example, here I have 13, 14, and because this is derivative, so EF and kappa f will be there. Kappa f will come here, and here you will be getting kappa f here, gamma c, gamma s. That's fine. Any doubt? If not, we proceed. So we have these three things, four equations we are getting, but our unknowns are, again I repeat, ES, EF, ES and EC, phi s. Of course, N effective you need to know, so that once you know N effective, then you know kappa f, gamma s and gamma c. Now what I am interested, that you see, if I know what is the value, I can consider EF equal to just normalized value 1, right? If EF is a normalized value 1, then I can find what is the value of ES1. I can find EF only if I know phi s, right? So EF is 1, then I can find ES equal to just cos phi s. So that way you can find out the amplitude. Our interest, not just amplitude, because amplitude can be normalized and you can just relate what is the value from the boundary condition. Our interest is to find out what is the value of phi s, right? Because this amplitude depends on how much power is there in that mode. So to find phi s, what I will do here, let us see that equation 14 and equation this one 16, if I try both, one in the 14, what, let me write down 14 here. What is that? 14 is EF cos kappa f d phi s EC. Okay, so I have EF cos kappa f d minus phi s equal to EC, right? This is your 14 equation, right? So 14 and 16, if you see, if you just divide this two, what you get? If you divide this two, you see minus j omega a minus j omega cancel. It will be automatically cancelled, right? So if you just divide 14 and 16 by 14, then what you get? You get, so let me write like that, tan of kappa f d minus phi s, and then you will be getting, if you are just dividing, you will be getting gamma c by kappa f. Is that correct? So in this process, what we do, we have just eliminated the amplitude part, EF and DC. So I could find equation involving kappa F, gamma C, and here also kappa F and phi S. Our constant number somehow reduced. That once we know kappa F, gamma C, then I can find phi S. That is one thing we'll be getting. And if I use 13 and 15, what is 13 equation? 13 is EF cos phi S equal to ES. EF cos phi S equal to ES. This is your equation 13. So here also you can find out, if you divide 13 and 15, 15 divided by 13. So what you get? Suppose j by omega will be cancelled. So minus sign will be there. Now one minus sign is coming here, right?
Yes, sir.
To check that minus sign, then you will be getting what? Normal, that minus sign should be eliminated in principle. Did I have some mistake? So because normally tan phi S we can write as, because minus sign for the x dependencies can be written as, that should be your gamma S by kappa F. So these things are there. Did I have some kind of mistake here, plus minus sign here? You can check. Somewhere I missed. So
This plus j by omega, sir.
huh?
Plus j by omega.
Both side, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So yeah, if it is both side, then I don't need to write minus here. You check that one. I think here. So okay, fine. So we have now 15, 16. Let me write this one as, say, 17, and this is your 18. So I have 17 and 18 equations are there, right? So we have tan kappa FD minus phi S equal to gamma C by kappa F, and tan phi S equal to this one. Use these two equations, 17 and 18. Okay. Then you can find out, for example, if you just expand this one, tan A minus B, then you can get tan kappa FD plus minus tan phi S by 1 over something like that. And that tan phi S you can just substitute like that. Just if I write this one, what is that actually? We can write this one. I'm just putting down this equation, tan kappa FD minus tan phi S divided by 1 plus tan kappa FD tan phi S. Is that correct? That is actually equal to gamma C by kappa F. Okay. So now this tan phi S, I know what is the value of tan phi S. I can put down here. So if I just put that one, then what I will be getting? Tan kappa FD minus gamma S by kappa F divided by 1 plus tan kappa FD gamma S by kappa F, that will be equal to gamma C by kappa F. Okay, little bit modification. You just simplify this one or two steps. I'm just making a step jump here. You can just do simple algebra. Tan kappa FD you can write as kappa F gamma C plus gamma S divided by kappa F square minus gamma C gamma F gamma S. Okay, so this is the case, and in generic form I can write kappa FD plus m pi should be equal to tan inverse of whatever this value, kappa F gamma C plus gamma S divided by kappa F square minus gamma C gamma S. Okay, Now we came down to a fantastic equation. You know what is this? This equation gives me what? So in this equation, what is unknown? Anyone can tell?
D.
No, D is given. Thickness.
Then M, like the mode in which
Mode, that is M. That M can go here according to this tan inverse this equation. So M can be 0, 1, integer. What is unknown? So if you just check kappa F expression, gamma S expression, gamma C expression, there all our expression is given, right? Earlier we discussed. Go back to there, then you will realize.
ineffective is the
Exactly. So when I defined the values, these values, if you see, gamma S, gamma C, kappa F involved, right? Left hand side kappa F D plus M pi, and right hand side all involved kappa F, gamma S, gamma C. Where I know N effective, I know NF, NS, NC. I know omega, I know C. So N effective is unknown. So that means from that equation, I will be able to solve N effective. So from here, only unknown is N effective. N effective, M can be solved. Right? M equal to 0, you can get one N effective. M equal to 1, you get another N effective. N effective, that means in this process, all the unknowns could be found out. Solutions. What is the solution? I know 3 region and I know the effective index. Okay. So this is a straightforward method, and here we did not do any compromise. Starting from Maxwell's equation, we just consider TE polarization and I could end up with this equation. So similar type of equation you can actually solve for TM mode. What would be the difference for the TM mode? If you just start solving for the TM polarization, what would be the how to proceed? Where I should make change? Same step, same procedure will follow, but there is a little bit difference will be there, and this expression will be coming little bit different also. This is for T polarization, right? Why it is T polarization? We have started with the EY field. Tangential component I applied for EY, and their tangential component boundary condition you will be applying for what? BY. Is that correct? For TM polarization, so TM polarization, the electric field will be your something like EX 0 EZ, and B will be equal to 0 BY 0. So for TM polarization, I will be able to get solution for BY, and with that I'll be able to come to a similar type of equation like this. That will be slightly different. I give you that as a home task. You just find the expression for TM. Okay. Now once you find the solution for TM, right, I would ask you to use this equation to plot beta omega for m equal to 0, m equal to 1, m equal to 2, and so on. Because what is beta? Beta equal to omega by c n effective, right? And this one I am just putting y-axis as a omega. For a given omega, I want to find out n effective, and then I will get one value. I vary again omega. I will use same equation. this equation, because all these involves omega c and n effective, either nf, ns or nc. So I will be able to, for given m value, I can get one solution for n effective for a given omega. And for that m, if I vary omega, I'll be getting a omega beta curve. Any question? I'll be able to get omega beta curve. Is that correct? This is very important curve. Omega beta curve for a guided mode. You know why? Why this omega beta is very important?
Group velocity and phase velocity are
Yes,
derived
we
from
will be able to find out the group velocity of the guided mode. Not only group velocity, I will be able to find out the dispersion of the guided mode. Meaning, I'm ultimately what I'm getting, omega dependent, n effective. That means if a refractive index as a function of frequency or wavelength, right? So that is dispersion characteristics of the mode. So you know, in fiber or optical communication also, this dispersion characteristics is very, very important. Okay. So if I can find out omega beta curve, how it is varying, then I will know what would be the modal dispersion. And we will be coming to know why it is very important to work with only single mode guide, not multi-mode guide. But sometimes multi-mode waveguide needed for designing different type of devices. We'll discuss that also later. Okay. Fine. Any other question? I stop here today. I'll continue from here. So this dispersion, this is also, you just plot that omega beta for m equal to 0, m equal to 1, m equal to 2. You use just MATLAB program, and both for TE and TM polarization, you try to plot. This is another assignment. Subarna or
Yes, sir. Yes.
Ramana, you can give
Okay.
another assignment just for MATLAB program. I think you guys all are submitting your assignment in due time, right? That will be seriously checked. We have some weightage for your assignment, for your evaluation. And today, this is my 15th lecture. So after 20th lecture, we will be conducting one quiz 1. So you should be updated. Whatever, I think by that time, I'll be able to complete the waveguide theory, and then we'll be slowly entering into coupled mode theory for device design. Fine. I think today I see that very less people. Suvarna, you take attendance, yeah?
Yeah. I noted down. Two more were there initially. Somebody left in between.
So you can give a 50% attendance.